So we will start with the question of Manun Rahman. It's a quick and straightforward question. Which language do you are using in the weather app?
Okay, I think thank you for this question. So, and this is also difficult is that most of the app is still in English language, but for your information that we use different communication channel to explain our diagram based forecast. Basically, it's a figure, it's a pictorial forecast. So many of the farmers actually had opportunity to learn how to interpret that forecast based after seeing the photographs or diagram. But in the diagrams, actually, we use some language. Actually, it was the number in English. But during training session, actually, we found that even with limited academic background, farmer can understand the number in English. So basically, they can interpret it that whether it is 100% chance of rainfall, 5 millimeter or 10 millimeter or 20 millimeter. So I would say basically we shared the forecast in terms of diagram and with a very limited language in English, but only the numbers, basically the numbers. So, but yes, on the other hand, we also use social media to interpret that type of forecast in local language, like it's Bengali, yeah. So in Bangla, we actually also communicate the forecast interpretation during our weekly events. So I think farmer had both options to learn in local language and also, yeah, with very limited number in English and basically for photograph. I think, I don't know whether I'm enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's addressed the question very well. Shall we move to the second question? This one is about pest and insect attack. So the question is from Sahon Swanokar. How can farmers reduce the pest or insect attack in their crop field with the help of the climate service that is provided?
Yeah, thank you. I think thank you, audience, and yeah, Sadhan. Yeah, we had nice interaction with farmers, and you know that pest infection or insect actually it's also linked climate phenomena. Say for like if a day is very foggy or very hazy or even cloudy, there is a chance of most pest infection, but also with weather. So if the temperature is very high with a cloudy situation, there is a chance of pest infections. So farmer actually can take their decision if they know there would be high temperature with cloudy situation, or the coming days would be foggy or so they can also take advance. They can apply additional insecticide, pesticide, in advance before a pest infection. I think this type of response we also got from farmer, that how climate services actually can even help farmer to take or get rid from the pest infection in advance. Yeah.
Yeah. From the same participant, Sadhon. As a question, so it is about although some farmers are getting the benefit from the climate services, but the question is how it can cover all the farmers in Bangladesh. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, I think it's a nice question, and thank you for this question. Our actually, I did research with a very limited farmers for my PhD research, but in this research actually we proved that if we co-produce services, that it helps farmer. That means the national services that is basically top down is not working at present conditions. So this is also a message to the national agency that if they want to improve their services, if they really want to help farmers at the local scale, they have to go for co-production. But another interesting point that recently we are also asked to study similar type of research by the National Meteorological Agency, and they ask how we could help them through our research to build actually farmer oriented or smallholder oriented services from the national department. So I think our research also helped to the concerned people, to the concerned authority, policymakers, and also National Institute to redesign and co-design their services for the farmers. And it will ultimately help uh, all farmers, smallholders in the Bangladesh Delta. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Uthpal. Let us move to the next question of Parveen Ahmed. The question is, how can the farmers who can use smartphones get climate info via text message?
Okay, and that's interesting. So basically, during co-production or during farmer interaction, we found that even with a text message in the mobile or even climate app, it's fully useful. So we also use even printed paper-based diagram. So we also provided printed color photographs of the diagram in each week to the farmer, so that every farmer in the same page, and they are trained during the interaction. Yeah. So we found that even with a smartphone or even with a technological innovation at the beginning stage, it is not useful. So we also have to consider some traditional way of communication. That's why we also use printed paper. Yeah, color diagram. And another issue is that even in Bangladeshi society, developing society, farmers are really well connected. Yeah. So if a farmer know that tomorrow or even in a certain day it will be heavy rainy or heavy something hazardous, then they are well shared among farmers. So I think who don't had access to mobile, even access to internet, actually we tried to maximize communication of the forecast, that how farmer have well access to this type of information through different channels, different platforms. Yeah. So we also engage some young people of the farmers family, that they can share the forecast with their family and friends. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let us move to the next question of Nicola Clot from Helvetas. The question was, what role plays the National Meteor Service of Bangladesh in the information chain?
Okay. So thanks for the questions. It's nice because we try to in my presentation that we try to bridge gap between science and society. So during farmer training, actually in the beginning stage, actually we invite even national meteorological expert who are actually responsible to provide agrometeorological forecast in Bangladesh. So we invited them even in our farmer villages, and we arrange participatory meeting, that how the national services actually useless to the farmers. Yeah, to show them, yeah, this is on things. So this is, I think this is one of the key role we played to inform them. And I asked the guy, national met officer, that whether in your life you came to the farmers to ask what information is needed from them, and he said never. He never interacted with farmer in his professional life. So, but he is the main responsible person to provide agrometeorological forecast in Bangladesh. And another issue, we also actually engage at the same times the regional meteorological officer who are responsible to collect. Basically, they are responsible to collect the different weather parameter and send it to the national office. So we ask them to give training to the farmers, that what is the meaning of a, like, say, if you say that there is a chance of like light rainfall, so it has no meaning to the farmers. So we asked the national regional officer to train farmer that what is the meaning of different climatological terminology, climate terminology they use in the national forecast. So farmer I think farmer are really interested that they learn something even from the national, even from the meteorological officers, that they know now at least what is the meaning of light rainfall, yeah, or even yeah, it's a medium rainfall. So we also arrange training for farmers and we invited the Met officers, yeah, in our training process, capacity building process. Yeah.
Thank you, Uthpal. We can move to the next question of Mamoon Ur Rajshi.
Rasid, yeah.
Yeah. He has a question that reflect that farmers are often reluctant in using the agricultural information. And
Yeah.
so how do you address this issue in your project?
I think if I understand that, yeah, farmer basically farmer are not I would say that it's yeah, farmer take decision based on their traditional, yeah, decision making process, but it's also important that even not 100% farmer nowadays farming system is also enough. I would say it's a information heavily, it's a heavily information needed for the smart agricultural process, yeah. So traditional practice is changing day by day, so farmer also now want to collect different types of information regarding pesticides, herbicides, and also regarding different type of crop variety. So they are now more open to adjust modern technology, modern farming systems. So I would not say that still farmer are very traditional. Farmer, if farmer have a scope to adjust like modern technology, they are willing to take the modern technology, except at least in the demonstration stage. And I would say that agriculture ministry is also very very success to actually introduce modern agricultural facilities, modern agricultural practices among farmer in Bangladesh. That's why we actually together we achieve food security in Bangladesh, even it's densely populated in the world. But in the beginning, actually, climate information was luxurious for them. But I would say when we actually prove them that we can really provide something that is useful, that is additional, yeah, at least to reduce the disaster risk, yeah, for their crop. So it's actually help farmer. So we did this experience like a action research process, not a single type of intervention interaction with farmers. So we interact with people, we provided services, we took feedback, and we try to understand what need to be adjusted, yeah, to improve the climate information services, to improve their decision making through climate information services. And I'm happy that even in my farmer group, they now even comment that they are addicted to climate information nowadays. So it's about behavioral change. It's not a single step process, yeah, it's an iterative process, yeah. It's really, yeah, important to show that it's work, it is helpful, then they will be convinced, yeah, to use. Yeah.
Indeed, I think that's a very nice observation. Thank
Yeah.
you, Upal. The next question is from Dr. Muhammad Jahangir Hossain. He commented that I think phone call is more effective compared to sending text messages. So can you comment on that?
Yeah, so I can comment on that. Yeah, so as a scientist, we often call that even there are so many even national call centers. So yeah, so if you see the research result that that even I don't know how many people call in the national call center. There are several call centers that you will get climate information. So if you dial the call center, it says the same message over again and again, and sometimes it's not location specific. Say for if a farmer from Khulna call to the for weather services to the national call center, then even they got messages about the north, so he don't need it. He is calling from south, so he don't need it climate information of the north. So then, and also it is expensive, yeah. Farmer are not often willing to call anyone. sometimes they are often shy to call anybody, to the scientists. So call center is, although call center are like free, it is more proactive, pro poor, pro people, but still those platform has less use. So in that case, I use even farmer are already engaged in their Facebook. So if you add 100 farmer in a Facebook Messenger group and post 3 pictures about the forecast, it is more helpful regarding calling 100 farmer, or regarding 5 farmer is calling to you every day. But they don't need. They will get the picture in their Messenger every morning or even each week. Yeah, it is easy. And they can, I learned from farmer actually. On farmer, he has no internet connection during the interactions. Yeah, so he took picture from other mobile, just a screenshot. Yeah, he took pictures of the diagram in his mobile, so he don't need internet. Yeah, and he follow over the week. So I think, yeah, communication, it's not limited to the call or to the text message. I will say multiple communication, even traditional communication, sometimes very important. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. The next question is from Parveen Ahmed. Again, thank you for the question. Is there any plan to share climate info with community radios?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Parveen Ahmed, for your questions. Actually, in the beginning, we also had mind that even community radio is very useful, even in our urbanization context. So, but in our research process, it's actually, it goes fast, and also I was responsible to finish my PhD quickly. So still we are not intended to share our forecast with community radio, but I would say I'm willing to share this type of forecast with anybody, not only community radio. If anybody, with anybody, yeah, if anybody want to join my app group, even Facebook group, I can share. But there is a message that we now is still using a third-party forecast that is from a switch agency, which also they have freely available apps in the Play stores. I can share the name of the apps. It's Meteo Blue. Yeah, I can write in the chat. So anyone can install this app, Meteo Blue app. In his mobile, in his or her mobile, and get the forecast, which is much better, I would say, in terms of quality. And quality, we assess skill of that forecast. It is almost 80% skills in the winter and 60 to 70% skill in other season. So I'd say this forecast skill is still good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Utpal. We will also share the links that you share later with the participants. Let us take the last question before we wrap up the webinar. The last question is from Pradiyum. In your opinion, is it feasible to develop agri-information products that cater to both large farmers as well as small farmers, smallholder farmers? Would a fee collected from large farmers can help to subsidize costs for the smallholders?
I would say, and this is a very valid question. I would not say that we have sufficient evidence that we can collect subsidies from the large farmer and subsidize to the smallholders, but we are still trying that if something and this type of subsidies can even pay by the insurance company, but crop insurance still is not well recognized in Bangladesh. I think this type of cost subsidies, there is a good chance by the insurance companies as well. So it's still I think this could be a nice study that is it possible to collect a fee from the large farmer and subsidize to the smallholders? But yeah, it can be even subsidized from an insurance company or banks. Yeah, that they can provide service to the poor farmers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even from the disaster ministry. Yeah, even from the disaster ministry. because they have budget to manage disasters. So if they can subsidize a company from their part that you are responsible to provide forecast to the smallholders, and from the ministry, we can subsidize on behalf of the farmers. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ulfbao. And I think that's a very interesting remark and thought to finish, because it's not only the interest of the researchers to try to cater these products and services to the farmers, but also companies are also trying to have these services as commercial services. So I think it's definitely worth some follow-up. With this, I would like to thank you very much, dear Ulfbao, for your very informative and inspiring talk. On behalf of the organizers and also the participants, we'd like to wish you a lot of inspiration and success for continuing your work in Bangladesh, but also internationally. I would also like to thank our participants very much for your kind attention and your interactions with the questions. Very interesting questions coming from the participants today. We do hope to keep in touch with you and wish you all the best with your work. We will share also the presentation and the relevant information that Ulfbao will share on the website, the waterchannel.tv/webinars. We will also send you emails about this. And with this, I would like to close today's session. Back to you, Ulfbao, if you want to say something.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, participants and my audience and along and the organizers.